I think what we potentially lost physically by giving them 3 days off. I think the mental break probably weighed much heavier, and I think they were in a really really good place having gone home and saw some family. So. We got up and down, and the lungs burn a little bit that first day when you come back. But practices have been good, and like I said before, I think the guys desperately needed to see some family and have a little bit of a mental break. So hopefully we can keep testing negative, and it ended up being the right thing to do.
Matt Foster, KETV.
Yeah, I think it's good for our entire coaching staff just to tap the brakes a little bit. It's been a grind for our staff as well, and we're following the rules that are in place, and to have a 2 or 3 day break where you kind of can just relax and not get tested for 3 days straight was kind of nice. But it was good. I think it was a good mental break for everybody involved in our program.
Anything more, Matt? No. Okay. We'll go to Joe Nugent first or next.
Yeah, the guys all got back, Joe, on December 27th, and they just got in the gym on their own that day, and we tested that day. And then the 28th, we just had individual workouts with one of our staff members that's already had the virus, so that there's no chance of any exposure or cross contaminating our team. And then we tested again the morning of the 29th, waited for those test results to come back, and then practiced late in the day on the 29th. So the first day we were actually back together was December 29th as a group. And in regards to Providence, they're Providence. They just don't change much. They're physical. They're long. Everything's a challenge at the rim. They do a great job of controlling tempo. And they have two guys that are playing as well as anybody in the league, and David Duke and Nate Watson. So really, really talented team. AJ Reeves seems to have found his swagger here the last couple games. So I mean, if they can get a consistent third score, they're going to be really, really dangerous because they have one of the best duos in anywhere across the league.
All right. We'll go to John Niatawa with the Omaha World Herald.
Yeah, he's done a good job, and everybody has to take a part of that. But I think he's embraced it, and he's getting better with each passing game because obviously it's a new role for him.
Arenas, White and Blue Review.
I mean, the biggest challenge for us is who we're playing, and it's a huge game. Both teams are 3-1 in the league, and for us to be able to go on the road and get a win against a team who I think will end up being in the top 3 or 4 in the league when everything shakes out would be huge for us. But it's not going to be easy. It's never easy when we play Providence. They handled us pretty easily at their place last year, and we Marcus threw in a three at the end of the game to win here in a game that we trailed most of the game. So, it's going to be a difficult game, but it's an important game. And, I think you throw all that out the window this year, Matt. You've seen teams that have come off a long break and played extremely well. We played some pretty good basketball during that 6 games and 16-day stretch, even though maybe it's not as pretty as everybody wants to see. At the end of the day, we currently – I think have the 8th most efficient offense in the country and 40th most efficient defense. Yet some people don't think we're playing very well. So those people obviously don't understand basketball very well.
All right. Next, we'll go to Matt Foster.
Yeah, the bench, Matt, has really made a nice stride, and everybody's had their games. I thought Sharif really changed the game along with Antwann the other day against Xavier. Ryan had a great game at St. John's and is doing a terrific job there. And I think you're seeing Alex O'Connell get more and more comfortable with each passing game. So, this is some of the best depth that we've had the last 4 or 5 years. We've had some injury issues and illness issues that have kept us from having the depth that we want, and I think that's gradually building. And I think every game you play, guys have a little bit more confidence, and you saw that certainly against Xavier with our bench. They were instrumental in us winning that game.
All right, we'll go to John Niatawa.
I mean, we evaluate shot selection, and as long as we're getting better shots than our opponents, that's what you want offensively, and that's what you want defensively. So what I evaluate is at the end is whether we won or lost, and we won both those games.
Go to John Bishop, 1620 The Zone.
It doesn't appear at this moment that the flow of the offense there's anything wrong with it, just making shots. Would that be as simple a synopsis of the offense so far this season?
Yeah, I mean when you've got a team that shot 40% from the 3-point line last year, and you return most of them, and you have games where you shoot in the 20s, as long as the shot selection analytics would point to those are good shots for your team, you hope that that's going to settle itself to the mean at some point. And, we've got a couple really good shooters that haven't shot it as well as they have in the past. And as long as they continue to take the right shots, our offense is designed to get us good shots. We can't control whether they go in all the time. So when they're not going in, are you doing enough other things to give yourself a chance to win the game? Are you rebounding and fighting on the backboards, and at least at our size keeping that even? And we won the backboard battles each of the last 2 games, and that's a big reason we won. Are you making it difficult for them to get quality shots? And the shot quality analytics would tell you that really in all 9 of our games, our quality of shots have been better than our opponents. And that's what we're after as a coaching staff. You can't control. It's a make shot, miss shot game. And, some people overreact when shots don't go in and think something's wrong with our offense. Well, again, those people don't understand basketball. Like if you get a good shot, some days those shots go in and some days they don't. The best shooters in the world, those 44, 45% career three-point shooters, miss over half their shots. So there's going to be games where they don't go in, and you just have to figure out other ways to win. And we've done a better job of that this year than we have the last couple.
All right, we'll go to Matt Foster.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, I'd like to pass on COVID for this. My wife and I were talking last night. Like, man, I can't wait till we can go a day and not have to have a discussion at some point about this doggone disease. So I really haven't thought about it too much. I'd love for our team to stay healthy. I think that's so important, especially this year. You have the injury issues that you worry about every year, but this year there's a whole nother dynamic to that. You hope that you continue to test negative and you don't have a long interruption. We've been fortunate since the South Dakota tournament that, knock on wood, we haven't been interrupted, nor has our opponent, where it's impacted our game. And obviously the Georgetown game that was supposed to be played last night was more because of needing a mental break for our guys. But you just hope that continues into 2021.
All right, we got time for a couple more. We'll start with Matt DeMarinis.
Yeah, I mean, we had the opportunity on December 29th to work just on ourselves. And that was the number one priority and focus, is let's get some of that pace back. And then yesterday we spent about half the time working on ourselves. The other half we kind of shifted to Providence. But I just think that, we had the shutdown where we couldn't, play and practice as much. And then we got into games, and then it was, the 6 games in 16 days against really good competition. And we really didn't have a chance to work on ourselves, especially our pace, because every practice was either a day after a game or a day before the game. So we really wanted to limit the amount of time that our guys were on their legs, especially going up and down in a full court situation. So I think we lost a little of that, our edge, and I don't think we're getting as many quality opportunities in transition as we did a year ago. And hopefully with the extra practices this week, and then I think we go a week or so and we have a week break, like from January 7th to the 15th or something like that, where we'll have a couple more days to work on ourselves, that we can fine-tune parts of that transition game and get it back where it needs to be. And now it starts with a rebound. Obviously, that's important, and that's gotten better, and that's going to be critical on Saturday against a very physical Providence team.
We'll stay with Matt DeMarinis for a follow-up.
Defensively, it does seem like there have been larger stretches where you guys have been more difficult to score on. Maybe past teams that have had better individual defenders. When you watch the film right now, how connected do your guys look? Basically, to your right, in terms of what you're doing for your season, how close to the good guys?
Well, we're moving the right direction, and it's still not perfect, and we got to continue to work towards that. But our numbers at the rim defensively are considerably better than they've ever been, and we drilled out a lot, that verticality at the rim, and making those shots in the restricted area difficult. And we're trying to force teams into 2-point shots and not take a lot of long twos ourselves. And I think through 9 games, I think our opponents have taken 40 odd some more mid-range shots than we have. So over the course of, that's 4 or 5 shots a game that we're not taking and they are taking, which is I think a positive for us. But I think our guys are getting better, and I think collectively Marcus is a little better defensively than he's been. Mitch has made it strides. Denzel's growing into that role. DJ's a senior. He understands it. He gets it. Christian's been better at the rim. And then you add Ryan to the mix that does a good job. And then Sharif totally changes the game defensively. And then I think Alex's athletic ability as we move forward can help in that regard. And then, Antwann's kind of the new guy that's trying to figure out what we're doing defensively. And it's, he's probably him and Alex have the biggest challenge because they're new to it. And I think you'll see them getting better with every passing game. But, we're making good strides. We just got to keep getting better. We're not a finished product, and we certainly still have some of our warts defensively because of a lack of size at some positions. But we're doing a pretty good job to cover that up.
And our final question will be with Matt Foster, KETV.
Yeah. I mean, he's trying to figure it out defensively, and that's a challenge. We give our guys a lot of freedom on offense. Defensively, some of our scouting report rules are pretty. There's a line in the sand, and here's what we're going to do, and it's period. And part of it is your teammates you have to be predictable, because as you put together a plan with 5 guys working together, if one guy drifts off, then the other 4 don't exactly know what to do in that situation. So we need that unit working in unison defensively, and he's getting better at that and understanding the importance of that. But it's going to be just like you go back to Mitch's first year, or Marcus, or DJ, or any of those guys. It's a process the first year, and it takes a little bit of time. But I thought that was his best game on both ends of the floor against Xavier, and hopefully he can continue to build on that, because there's no question the things he does for us offensively, I think they're easy to see. He sees the floor. He can break down the defense off the dribble. You saw some of his shooting against Xavier. That's more the norm than what you saw a few of the other games. He's a very capable shooter. So he's a great weapon to have off the bench.
All right, that'll do it for our session today with Coach McDermott. We'll send out the recording when I send out the game notes here in about 2 hours. Thank
All
you.
right. Thanks, guys.
Christmas was great. Got the brand new Jordans, and then my mom came all the way from Florida to visit me. So Christmas was great. I got to see my family, and I got some new Jordans, so I'm happy.
Matt, was there a follow-up question to that or not?
Yeah, Antwann, just how nice is it having this break in the midst of an already weird season, just to kind of give your body time to rest as you go back into Big East play?
I mean, it just shows how much our coach cares about family and just being happy mentally and just being able to see your family and just take care of things like that, I guess.
All right, next up, we'll go to John Niatawa with the Omaha World Herald.
Antwann, what's the mentality like just being, having those first few moments of the game, sitting on the bench, kind of watching things go, and then having to make an impact right away? Like, is there you have to train your mind in a certain way to kind of be ready to make an impact right away? And not, I mean, I don't know, you can't really get into a flow of the game. You can't really just.
No, it's harder to get into a flow, but I just go into every game just thinking just to be a dog and be aggressive. As long as I come into the game trying to be a dog and be aggressive, I feel like I can have a lot of success because it's just a mindset that you have to just want to compete and just play hard. That's what helps me coming off the bench.
All right, next we'll go to Joe Nugent with Channel 6.
Antwann, I was reading that you used to play basketball at Shaquille O'Neal's house. Tell me about that. That's obviously very different.
Oh yeah, it's a crazy story. Not a lot of people know about that, so you did your homework. When I was like in middle school, I played for this AAU team called Team Future, which we would drive down from Tampa, Florida, all the way to Orlando, Florida, at Shaq's house. He stayed in a neighborhood called Osworth, and we practiced there every Sunday. I guess my AAU coach had the code to his garage, and he let us practice there. He come down sometimes, and I got to meet Shaq a couple times, and he told me, biggest thing he told me was like, if you listen to your pops, you can make a lot of money playing basketball. I'll never forget that.
All right,
Yeah.
next we'll go to John Bishop, 1620 The Zone.
Antwann, there was a lot made of, how tired the guys were at the end of that stretch, especially the last two games you played. Have you noticed a difference in just everyone's kind of makeup, both physically and mentally, after the week and a half off?
I say it wasn't that we were physically tired, but we were definitely mentally tired. And 90% of basketball is mental. So if you're mentally tired, eventually you'll be physically tired. So we just got a chance to recollect our minds and get back focused on basketball, but also get to spend time with our families.
And we'll go back to Matt Foster. Again, use the raise hand feature if you got a question. Go ahead, Matt.
Antwann, it's a small sample size so far, but what's kind of been your impressions of playing Big East basketball so far?
Every game is competitive. I don't take any game lightly in the Big East, and us having a ranking is just like we just got to take every game serious because I know teams are going to come at us 2 times harder. So every game is like a championship game for me, and we just take everybody seriously. We don't take anybody lightly.
All right, we'll go to Matt DeMarinis with White and Blue Review.
Hey, Antwann, against UConn, they kind of didn't really respect the jump shot. They kind of played more to attack the basket, crowd off you a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But it seemed like you got into a pretty good rhythm shooting the ball against Xavier. Did you spend any time in the gym after that UConn game to make sure teams paid for that?
Like I said, basketball is mental. So like I could shoot the ball. I just was choosing not to shoot the ball, and I was just being real passive and not being aggressive and not being a dog. So that's why the mindset I took into the last game was just be a dog, be aggressive, be who you are, instead of just being so passive and just nonchalant. So I that was my fault for letting UConn guard me like that. But if anybody else guards me like that, I'll be happy for that. I'll be happy they do that because it's going in. So.
All right, we'll go back to John Niatawa with the Omaha World Herald.
I don't know if I've asked you this just in terms of the atmosphere at games. How different is it? There's no fans, obviously, and what that means for me, like I can hear you guys talking more
Mm-hmm.
with opposing teams, with each other. Is the intensity higher on the court because you guys have to kind of, don't know. I just wonder what's the comparison of how much chatter there is about between teams and how the Texas thing is big without fans agreement.
Without fans, you just have to focus on consistent communication and try not to stagnate on offense and defense because it's easy to do that when you don't have the crowd to boost you up in the slower times of the game. So I like the crowd being there more often than not having any fans because they give you a little boost that you need whenever you're getting stagnant or inconsistent with your play.
All right, we'll go to Joe Nugent, Channel 6.
Antwann, you guys will get back at it this weekend against Providence. What do you see out of this team? It looks like obviously they're playing some good ball. They've won a couple games already in overtime early in the conference. It's a big challenge.
They're a tough physical team. We just gotta lock in and do what Coach asks us to do, and I feel like we can come out with a W. Everybody be a star in their role, and execute. We'll be able to get this dub. But they got a couple of really good players. I think I played on the same team as David Duke in a camp, like NBA Top 100 camp, and he was super talented. So I like what I see out of him. AJ Reeves, he can shoot the ball really well. So we just got to respect those dudes and just take them out of their comfort zone, and we'll be okay.
All right, we got time for a couple more questions. We'll start with Matt Foster.
Antwann, for you personally, with your role on this team, do you feel like you start to settle into the system, Coach Mack's system, after sitting out last year, watching how it progresses, but now getting to play in it? Do you feel like you have a better understanding of it now?
Yeah, I have a better understanding, but it's also about paying your dues. I mean, this is my first year here. I still got to fill it out even a little bit more, but I'm just trying to be the best I can be and then help my team win. That's it. So.
All right, Matt DeMarinis, go ahead.
This might be a loaded question a little bit, but first part of it is, I guess, can you possibly explain what you were seeing at the end of the first half against Monica? Marcus kicks it out to you, and you just flip it behind your back to Mitch. Like, it seemed like it was a split second, not even decision. How did you come about making that play like you did? And then more to the bigger picture of that, like, how do you see the game when the ball's in your hands and you have space to kind of create?
I mean, whenever I have space and it's just me and I got room to operate, I just think of it like it's a pickup game. I mean, try to give dude a bucket or try to make a play for my teammate. With the pass, though, that was an instinctual thing. Once I did it, I was like, it better get straight to his shooting pocket or Coach Mack going to be hot. So I just was like, make sure this get right where it needs to be so Mitch can knock it down. So I'm just happy it worked out the way it did. That was my only option, though. It was a low pass. I had to throw it around my back or it wasn't going to get there in time. So it worked out.
All right, John Niatala.
Antwann on the other end of the floor. One of the things Coach McDermott said, this is a couple weeks ago, so you may have settled in a little bit more. But he said, when you're thinking and processing it, it's hard to be at your best because you're thinking and not reacting.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you think you're at just in terms of your ability to see the game defensively, be in the right spot, and do your job there?
Me defensively, I mean, I know mistakes are made defensively, so I'm more like just a read and react guy. If I make a mistake, I just need to trust that my teammate gonna have my back, and then I'll take care of his man, and he take care of mine, and play defense that way instead of thinking about it. Just rotate, make sure the other team don't score. That's all I think about.
All right, we got time for two more questions. If there's any questions, click on the raise hand feature. All right, I think we're done with Antwann Jones. We'll have Coach McDermott join us here in a couple minutes.
All right, thank you for having me.